The highlights, and a match where England have the chance to square the series. West Indies having gone one up in the series at Lord's, and a very comprehensive victory it was too. Well, good conditions here at Old Trafford for the start of this match, and a pitch that had a decidedly brownish tinge about it. Looked to me as though it would be very good for batting, and that spin bowling might even come into it, and wouldn't that be welcome? Well, that was reflected in the teams when they were announced by the two skippers just before the toss. John Childs makes his debut, left-arm spinner from Essex, formerly with Gloucestershire, at 36 years of age. John Embury is the other spinner. David Capel comes into the side, and Martin Moxon will open with Graham Gooch, and Chris Broad is the man left out. The other one omitted from the 13-strong squad is Greg Thomas of Glamorgan. I'm not surprised, having seen the pitch, even though it was from a distance. West Indies have been forced to leave out Desmond Haynes. He's injured, has a thigh strain. And down the bottom of the list there, Winston Benjamin comes in for Patrick Patterson. A very good toss for England to win. John Embury flipped the coin. Viv Richards called in correctly. And if my theory is right about the pitch and the spinners, then England will relish the chance to make runs on this, the first day. We pick up play now in the very first over. It's the third ball. Coming to bowl from the Stretford end is Malcolm Marshall, and taking strike is Graham Gooch. Runs on the board for England, but the most significant thing there was that the ball didn't bounce a great deal. It did bounce just about alongside Dujon.
Malcolm Marshall to Moxon. Oh, that's bowled in. Back through the gate. The first strike for West Indies and for Malcolm Marshall. Martin Moxon. Naught for him. And he got a good one.
Yes, fine delivery this. Just pitching, slanting into Moxon. Once again, Moxon pulling that front pad away to the leg side instead of pushing it forward into the ball. I think if he'd done that, he might have had a big LBW shout, but he certainly would have had a chance of getting away with it.
And again, it's Malcolm Marshall.
Mike Gatting.
And a big applause now from Mike Gatting. More than applause, in fact, a cheer. So that's what the crowd think of the recall of the former England captain.
Just watch this front pad carefully. You see it going back. If he'd pushed that front pad at the ball, I think he would have got away with it, because it would have hit him just outside the off stump.
England 12 for 1. And he's out. And that brings back memories of 1984. No shot played. Twice in one test match then, and now he's done it again.
Well, sad piece of misjudgment there by Mike Gatting. Here we can see this Marshall very close to the stumps, and that slanting in, hitting him just outside the off stump, and certainly would have hit the stumps.
Gower off the mark. He played it there, but not off the middle certainly, but 4 good runs for him.
Courtney Walsh, the bowler. It's gone, and that's why Harper is such a great fielder. Just plucked it out of the air, and David Gower playing a familiar flick shot outside off stump. He can't resist it. Has played into the hands, literally, of the West Indians.
Well, David Gower can't be pleased with that stroke. 5 men sat there for the catch. Bowling just outside off stump, and Really, there's not much sense in that shot of Gower's.
Winston Benjamin.
Well, there's a fine shot from them. That really is the shot of the morning. There's another one. That brings the 50 up. Off 145 balls, more important, England have lost 3 wickets, but suddenly Lamb's looking in prime form. Oh, that's well bowled. That's well bowled there, and he's out. Gooch stood there. Nobody else was in much doubt.
Yes, Graham Gooch driving at that. Very, very wide, shaking his head there as he's walking off. Not very happy at all. Foot nowhere near the pitch of the ball. And he doesn't seem to be very interested in what the umpire's going to do.
Whether Gooch is disappointed with his stroke or the decision is irrelevant now, because that's the end of a determined anchor role he played. And certainly from the time that he flashed at that ball, the bowler, the wicket-keeper and all the close fielders were quite certain that there was something well worth shouting for.
And that was a crushing blow for England. Gooch out for 27 with that catch by Dujon off Winston Benjamin. 16 to Lamb and no score to Capel. 55 for 4 at lunch for England, and that is a very dismal performance indeed. We pick up play now after lunch. It's the 5th over. 5 runs have been added. Marshall is coming in from the Stretford end. He's bowling to David Capel, and Capel is still not yet off the mark. That'd be a great relief for David Capel. He's off the mark after 17 balls faced. Well, there's the 5th one down. And David Capel is gone. It darted back from outside the off stump. It looked to me as though it might have kept a little low as well. I don't know if Capel gave it a bit of an assist from the inside edge, but it's immaterial. 61 for 5, England. Benjamin now has 2 wickets, and the England batting is in tatters.
Well, again, the ball moving off the seam. Coming back. Didn't look to keep particularly low. Capel certainly made it appear that, but it didn't look any lower than knee-high at it, about that height. But certainly a little bit late in coming down it there, Capel. And England really in a mess now. Certainly it's a struggle wicket, but you don't really see it as a 61 for 5 wicket.
This is Lamb's strength, because with Richards pressuring him with the close set field, there are gaps. It's the only way he really can play effectively. Runs for Downton. Plenty of gaps in the field with 7 close catches. There's 2 or 3 there. Courtney Walsh coming round from fine leg, just about cut it off. Just wonder, Tom, with Paul Danton starting to settle in and Alan Lamb looking quite comfortable, whether we might just see spin for the first time in a minute. That's a good shot. Downton's first boundary. And the substitute has just come on for Carl Hooper, who's left the field. Keith Arthurton not getting in the game, but having a long chase.
Yes, a long hop outside the off stump. Paul Downton coming forward to start with, just rocking back and hitting that square.
Well, how close was that to the stumps?
A slower delivery from Courtney Walsh. And Downton chopping that down off the front foot, getting a bottom edge and just missing the off stump. Very, very close indeed. There's a change in the attack now with Curtly Ambrose going to run in from where he started the day's play first thing this morning.
Apologies for interrupting an over. If there's a doctor in the area of D stand, would they kindly...
For the first time, with Paul Downton in there with 15 against his name, no short leg.
Well, that's a good shot. Plenty of power, crisply timed.
And Paul Downton coming into his own. Long hop outside the off stump. And cracking down on that and timing it very well indeed. He likes to get on the front foot to start with. Rocking back and hitting that square. And Courtney Walsh is going to continue from the Stretford end to Alan Lamb.
One run to Downton. It's well run by Lamb. Well caught. It was almost steered there in the end, straight to Gordon Greenwich, and the perfect height for the catcher, can reverse the palms, and Lamb has gone. It's a disastrous blow for England. Court Greenwich bowled Ambrose for 33, and Lamb is out.
Yeah, good catch here by Greenwich. Just short, and that ball just bouncing a little bit. Lamb not getting quite on top of it, and I say Greenwich there having to reverse his hands.
That's a better view of it. That's across from mid-wickets. You see, is a nice little hop to the left by Gordon Greenwich. This can be a difficult seeing ground at that level, but still comfortable place to have the hands in reverse order in front of the chest.
3 more runs were added, and then a thunderstorm hit the ground, and 138 minutes of playing time were lost before the players and the umpires were able to get out again. We pick up the action now with Courtney Walsh coming in to bowl to the England captain John Embury. The England cause has been advanced by 1 run, and that was a no ball.
Oh, that's out. Lovely delivery, lifted, left him. John Embury obliged. So that's the 7th England wicket to fall. 98 the score.
Well, we've only been out there for a few deliveries, but John Embury's never looked comfortable. Again, they see the bat's a long way from his body. Just going away a little off the pitch, not much, and a little bit of bounce, and as you say, that's the 7th wicket down, and England in dire trouble now.
Ambrose to De Freitas. Oh dear me, that's the 100 up. Lucky for De Freitas. Off the mark with a lucky 4. That 100 for England has come off 299 deliveries.
Well, a bit of good fortune here for Philip De Freitas. Well wide, short. Really just hanging the bat out a yard away from his body and just lobbing it over to the slips.
Walsh bowling to Downton. Good shot, nicely timed. Curtly Ambrose bowling to Philip De Freitas. Curtly Ambrose to bowl Philip De Freitas. De Freitas on 10. England 111 for 7. Oh, and straight through him. Lifted and came back.
Well, again, I think that was more angled than actually seaming back. He went a little bit wide on the crease, and he just bowled the ball to good angle there, does Ambrose, and you can see that really doubling De Freitas up there.
Walsh to Downton. And that's out. Gordon Greenwich doesn't miss those. Greenwich again. That's the end of Paul Downton's brave resistance, caught by Gordon Greenwich off the bowling of Courtney Walsh for 24.
Well, Downton hit this pretty well. It was short and wide, and he clipped it pretty hard, but didn't keep it down, and straight into the midriff there of Greenwich. I think he caught it clean. I don't think it went into the midriff, but it went pretty fast. There, quite a good shot, just didn't knock the ball down. And Greenwich there delighted to hold on to it.
Well, there's one way to get off the mark. All counts.
Well, there are a few batsmen played a long time for naught today. There's no trouble to Dilly. He's just got it through those 4 slips without any trouble at all. Yes, It's completely bisecting Richards and Harper at first and second slip. Richard just getting a finger end on it.
And Dilly deciding to put back to ball. 2 runs there. Curtly Ambrose bowling to Philip de Freitas. And that's out. How simple. Probably the most simple-looking dismissal of the day. De Freitas just surrendering tamely to Greenwich.
Greenwich catching the ball in all positions now. De Freitas going for the drive, then stopping his shot. You can see no follow through there, and really the ball only going just steadily, and Greenwich knocking it up with one hand and just catching it with 2 as it came down. But De Freitas completely stopping his shot there. If he'd gone through with the shot, he would certainly have cleared Greenwich and gone in the gap between mid-off and cover. I think that's just a continuation of England's poor batting today.
John Child.
It's England 123 for 9. And the new cap, John Childs, coming in for a Test debut innings, and what circumstances he faces.
And runs for John Childs. That was a good catch by Roger Harper. Very tall man and one of the greatest fielders we've seen in the last 10 years. The end of the England innings at 135. Graham Dilley, the man dismissed.
And Graham Dilley flashing away hard, and a magnificent catch by Harper. You see how far off the ground he is? Beautifully caught. You see that ball flying high, and probably only Roger Harper and Ambrose and Walsh would have reached that.
That's thoroughly disappointing performance from England. That was quite a decent batting pitch out there. The pitch can't be blamed for the fact that they were bowled out for 135 and the top score was just 33. 27 to Gooch and some double-figure scores down the bottom there. But really disappointing after England won the toss and had first choice of the pitch. 135, and it's reflected in the bowling figures with Marshall taking 2 wickets, but he wasn't used over much today. Ambrose, Walsh and Benjamin were the ones there who took 8 wickets between them, and Courtney Walsh bowled extremely well from the Stretford end, 4 for 46 in 18.2 overs. I was impressed too with Winston Benjamin, who came in Patrick Patterson's place. Thought he did a good job, 13 overs, 4 maidens and 2 for 31. West Indies had to bat for 3 overs, one of them bowled by John Embury and 2 by Graham Dilley. They finished at 4 for no wicket, and a very, very bad miss by England there. It should have been 4 for 1 with Gordon Greenwich, one of the heaviest scorers in the world, put down by Graham Gooch at second slip, and Graham Dilley was the unlucky bowler. It was a sharpie sort of chance, but bear in mind, England got into all sorts of trouble at Lord's because they missed 5 chances, and they've missed another one today, and you simply cannot afford to do that in this class of cricket. So 4 for no wicket was the score at the end of the day. 2 overs bowled by Dilley, 1 by Embury, the chance going down, and really it was a very, very sad day for England. The West Indians were the only ones who came out with anything. The West Indies 131 behind, and 4 for no wicket as play began. We pick it up now in the second over. 3 runs had come from John Embury's first over. Graham Dilley is the man coming into bowl, and he's bowling to Richie Richardson.
Oh, lovely shot. Leg stump half volley. Only one answer to that.
Well, that's the point we just made about Richardson. He can play some flashing shots off the quicker bowlers, and Not much better than that. He just strayed a bit down the leg side, did Dilly, but he certainly whipped that away for 4. And this outfield's very wet at the moment, so tremendous power there. Tremendous power there.
Well, that's well bowled. Squared Richardson up and left him. Luck with the batsman. Greenwich coming for the 3rd. Dilly to Greenwich. There's another half volley. Not hit with quite the same timing as Richardson managed. There'll just be 3 in it. Already 10 runs off the over.
This is just one of the things that England didn't want this morning, the ball flashing all around the outfield. Dilly again just straining off that leg stump and a half volley length. And Greenwich is very quick. He doesn't miss many half volleys or short ones. He likes to hit the ball harder than this man.
That's Gordon Greenwich's answer to that.
Gordon Greenwich won't allow the bowlers to dominate him. He'll want to break out of these close fielders. That was almost the same delivery that he padded up the ball before, but using his feet, he got down, did just lift it a little bit. Possibly being just that yard straighter, then Embry might well have got an hand to it.
Dilly to Richardson. Oh dear me, this just really isn't the sort of stuff that England need. They need to run.
Well, Dilly again straying down that leg side. That would certainly have missed leg stump, and Richardson very quick to pick it up again.
There's another half volley and another 4 runs. Different part of the ground, but really this is disappointing stuff from Dilly.
Yes, it was another full half volley, and Richardson again very quick onto it. The ball just running in all the time at the moment. Dilly not getting the ball to move away as he did at Lords, and possibly he's not finishing his action off properly or something just like that. Pushing it in with his arm, not getting his shoulder around, but certainly he's not getting the ball to hold on that off stump and go away as he did at Lords. A little bit tense, a bit anxious, nothing to play with.
He'll be disappointed in that. Not a great way for England to get a wicket, but anything acceptable at this stage, with West Indies threatening to run Lamarck, and Richardson, who's gone for his shots right from the word go, helping Dilly to his first wicket. 35 for 1. Richardson out for 23.
Well, that's certainly a bonus wicket for England. Basically, that was really a long up on this wicket, halfway down, and Richardson just slightly above it, getting the bottom edge and down to the stumps. And really, John Embry wants to be saying to Dill, now, come on, you've got that little bit of encouragement, get your teeth into it and get bowling, because he hasn't bowled this morning yet. And that's a little bit of bonus for England there.
Hooper, the new batsman, so Richards staying in the position he likes best at 4.
Gentlemen from the Milk Marketing Board, please go to reception.
Simply the lack of pace, really, which got Richardson through the shot before the ball had arrived almost, and just able to help it down onto the stumps. just giving Greenwich room enough for one of his favourite cuts. Hooper turning it into 3. Now Dilly.
That's a better ball, and very lucky indeed, Greenwich, to get away with that. Bad luck to Graham Dilly. The ball skewered off the shoulder of the bat, it seemed. Went over the top of where 3rd or 4th step might have stood, went for 4.
That really took off from the length, and Gordon Greenwich having a look at the pitch there. You see how high this hits on the bat. Goes right off the shoulder, the corner of the shoulder, and high over 3rd slip. 50 up for West Indies.
It's to be John Childs to bowl, his debut ball in Test match cricket. Lots of good luck wishes out on the field there for him, and round the country as well. Maybe 36 years of age, but every cricketing mother's heart will go out to him at the moment.
Replacing Philip de Freitas at the Warwick Road end, John Childs.
That would be an enormous relief. Now fielded by de Freitas. Well enough. Saved the 4. But Hooper picked up an extra 1. He was going to get the single anyway.
Hooper certainly uses his feet well to the spin bowlers. Down the wicket very quickly there to Childs, and pretty well stopped there by de Freitas. He was going very hard, that, so it saved a couple of runs.
Slow ball from David Capel, but beautifully clipped away by Greenwich.
Yes, Capel trying the slower delivery, but unfortunately not pitching it. Going down the leg side and on the full toss. And Mr. Greenwich doesn't miss many of those. Thank you very much. 4 runs.
Now John Childs. Ball to Carl Hooper. Well, my word, that's out, and there's the wicket for John Childs. Marvellous start, 3rd over in Test cricket, and the leave alone shot. So no wonder Mike Gatting's looking pleased. 77 for 2. Carl Hooper out for 15.
And what a dream come true. John Childs slanting that one in, and really a dreadful piece of judgment by Hooper, letting that go. Would have knocked the middle out. Be interesting to see what Vivian Richards does about this, really. He's known as a slaughterer of slow bowlers. And if he sees any danger in Childs, I'm sure he'll be after him from the word go.
And that one turned and bounced. Now, what does that do to the great man?
Well, I don't think he'll be coming down the wicket quite so often. That turned, lifted, bounced, it did everything.
Another one turning. Luck with the batsman there. Richards going for 2. How long will it be before John Embury reinforces that offside field?
Well, this turning You can see that, but Viv Richards right forward, back angle down.
That's a lovely shot. The goal, full-length half volley to Greenwich. That's what happens. John Charles, they've put a back pad man in on the offside, but it's still only a 5-4 split field. There's gaps there. Oh my word. That nearly found the gap in Richards' defence.
Well, unusual to see Viv Richards really have a slash at this. Much too close to the off stump to play that shot.
Now then, it's Philip de Freitas from the Stratford end. That's close. Yes, it certainly is. That's well bowled. Greenwich goes. De Freitas is struck. Ball darting back off the seam. Didn't seem to me that Greenwich got forward at all. Looked as though that front foot was almost stuck. Just a little movement in front of the crease.
Well, Greenwich has had his share this morning of LBW shouts and got away with them. On that occasion he didn't, and really can't see too much wrong with that. Hit him about knee-high, didn't really get forward, just in front of the popping crease, and the ball just really angling in.
That's 4 runs, and it went in the air. Richards kept it between Gower and the man out at long off, but it was certainly at catchable height.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. It was a good length, good line, a bit of spin on it, and Richards was a little bit across it, but he managed to get it through that gap. But it was always about catchable height, head high, for extra cover.
Shot from Richards. Hit the link straight away.
De Freitas now to Logie.
Too full. Maybe he doesn't waste those. Slashing stroke from Richards, but it was one of the few very short balls John Charles has bowled.
Tremendous stroke this by Viv Richards. Short, all the time in the world to get back and smash that through the covers.
It's in the air, there's a man out under it, but he's not tall enough. It's 6, didn't come off the middle of the bat. Charles drew him into the stroke, and a little kiss of the bat there for Viv Richards. There must have been some apprehension there as the ball was going towards the fielder.
Yes, he didn't middle this, he was hitting that over mid-on. He's got a very thick outside edge, but he's such a strong man that that just cleared long off.
Logie taking Dilly on and winning it comfortably. 2 runs, that's the 150 up for West Indies. Just 2 slips, the rest of the fielders defensively deployed. Well, not defensively enough for a shot like that off a ball like that. 4 runs.
Yes, and remarkable shot this, really, but he's a remarkable player.
Well, things now starting to just fray at the edges for England. This partnership now starting to look very dangerous. And that's bowled him. And David Capel has bowled him. Well, Viv Richards there, 47. West Indies now 175 for 4, the end of a partnership which added 74. They're starting to take the game right away from England. Viv Richards undoubtedly playing for tea. David Capel breaking through.
He's gone across, he's leaning back, just chops it down, it hits the leg stump. A real bonus for England, that.
The bonus indeed, and for David Capel as well. Richards out for 47, and 7 more added to take the total up to 182 for 4 at tea. Logie and Dujon, the dangerous men, they're the ones who did such a good job for West Indies at Lord's, partnerships of 130 and 131. The bowling figures for England, well, they've worked hard out there. It's been a case of whittling away at the West Indies. Dilly 1 wicket, and 1 also to De Freitas, Capel and John Childs. What a great moment it was for him. 12 overs, 2 maidens and 1 for 45 in his first spell. So tea on the second day of this 3rd Cornhill Test. West Indies 47 runs ahead and with 6 wickets in hand. We pick up play now in the 2nd over after the tea interval. No runs have been added. John Embury is the bowler. Gus Logie is taking straight.
That's a magnificent stroke through the extra cover boundary there. Perfectly timed. Everything right about the stroke. Put to the ball. Perfect follow through and a perfect finish. Absolutely perfect balance there.
That's not far away. It's the straight one from John Embury. And I think Jeff Dujon realised just in the last fraction of a second that it was the straight one. He was in trouble.
Well, that's got to be very, very close. John Embury looking a bit disappointed there.
There's Dilly to Logie. And LBW to Graham Dilly. Gus Logie this time can't share that great partnership with Jeff Dujon as was done at Lord's. Logie goes. Dujon may have been lucky in the last over, but not Logie that time.
Yes, Gus Logie looking to fall over a little bit here. Straightish ball about off the middle, looking round about middle, and just got a little bit too far over. The bat having to come across the line there a little bit.
Roger Harper.
New batsman is Roger Harper, brought back into this West Indies side. The Old Trafford Test match. Gus Logie, OBW to Graham Dilley. And Logie was trying to get his leg out of the road, perhaps out of the umpire's view after he struck, and that does look very, very plumb. And then he tries to thrust that left pad out as far as he can, but it's a fairly ungainly thing, and it did look very, very out.
Yes, I think a little bit of a guilty conscience there from Logie, trying to get out of line, but I'm afraid the umpire beat him to it.
Graham Dilley now bowling to Dujon. Pace off the bat. Super shot from Geoffrey Dujon, who rather favours that stroke off the pads.
He's drifted down that side a few times today. He's been off the field, probably got a little bit of back trouble, and his problem is he's not quite finishing the action off properly, and it just lets him drift down that leg side.
Just ran straight along the ground.
My goodness me. Deceived in the length. Kept a little bit low, not unlike the one that bowled Capel.
Well chased by John Childs. 3 to Roger Harper, and the players will go off now. There's a heavy shower scudding across the ground. Umbrellas are up. The covers are coming on. And the players are going off. And that was the first time the players were off the field for weather after tea. In fact, later they were to go on and off several times, and finally the West Indies finished at 242 for 5. Dujon is playing very well. He looks to be in ominously good form again, 35 not out. And Roger Harper, brought into this side in place of the injured Desmond Haynes, is 23 not out, and that is a very valuable partnership. The bowling figures for England: Dilley finished up with 2 for 50, and De Freitas, Capel and Childs a wicket each. And at the close of play, which had gone on until just after 7 o'clock this evening, the West Indies 107 runs ahead. In the 6th over, 2 runs have been added. John Childs, the left-arm spinner, is coming to bowl from the Warwick Road end, and he's bowling to Geoffrey Dujon.
That's a good shot. And that's what John Childs has found about Test cricket. The bad ball tends to go for 4.
Yes, John Childs pulling this one down, width, short, and Jeff Dujon just picking his spot, really. He's only got to hit it in the middle.
Childs. Takes Dujon on to 49. There's Dujon's 50. What a valuable innings that is. It's his 4th against England. His 13th for the West Indies. And his 3rd 50 of the series. So what an impact he's making.
Freitas. Didn't miss by much, and the batsman Dujon would have been struggling.
Yes, see that pretty hard towards mid-off, and it's not too deep there. And that got to be pretty tight if the ball hit the wicket.
Bit of spin there for Charles.
Yes, the ball's certainly still turning. That would have pitched round about off the middle and missed everything. So there's quite a bit of encouragement there for the slower bowlers. Not quite carrying though, that's the problem, the pace of the pitch.
Dilly has the chance of taking the new one, which he does now. The newer, bouncier ball is providing a problem or two for Roger Harper. He came into the team here for Old Trafford in place of Desmond Haynes, who has a thigh injury. But he's been a good partner for Geoffrey Dujon. Their partnership began at 187, gone through now to 280. Cheers for Mike Gadding for his fielding, not for Roger Harper having scored his third run in almost 70 balls, or more than 70 balls faced today. He's had trouble getting it off the square.
Well caught.
Very well caught. He had to pick it up for a start. It was David Capel, and Dilly picks up his third wicket. Dujon goes, the leading edge out to David Capel. And Capel's biggest task there was, first of all, to get his eyes fixed on the ball. It was aimed well wide of him, and he moved well to it.
Yes, there's nothing really outstanding about the delivery. It was probably going down the leg side, and Dujon just getting through a little bit early, probably bringing the right hand into play a bit too early. The bat just turning and probably catching that leading edge. And a pretty good catch, because you are looking to a real sea of spectators there in the distance. And it's not quite easy to pick it up straight away, so he had to make 10 or 12 yards very quickly. But certainly Dujon's played exceptionally well. It is an advantage if you've got a wicket-keeper who can average round about the 40 mark. England were very lucky for quite a period of years when I was captain that we had Alan Knott, who averaged over 40 for a long period of time, and it really does give you that extra batsman. It makes a big difference. Been a lot of criticism in England sometimes of selectors on whether they pick the best wicket-keeper or a wicket-keeper batsman. I think really if one wicket-keeper is so much more outstanding than the other, you've probably got to pick the wicket-keeper. But it's certainly nice if your wicket-keeper can average around about the 40 mark. Malcolm Marshall, the incoming batsman, and he's a pretty useful batsman for a fast bowler, no doubt about that. There you see Dujon just turning that bat with the right hand and catching the leading edge, the ball just lobbing up, not going very hard, there's no problem in the pace, but you see that Capel there to make a lot of ground. It's very easy sometimes that when you're catching and reaching down like that, your knee sometimes bumps your elbow and the ball flies out, but Capel made no mistake.
Two good overs from Graham Dilly with the second new ball. John Embry used the spinners this morning, and they did a good job. That's Embry himself and Childs. But, two good overs there from the England fast bowler. Philip de Freitas is the man at the Warwick Road end now. He's given that a bit of a thump down the ground. Harper, who has played almost no strokes all morning. Certainly been galvanised into action. He is a terrific hitter. Graham Dilley is bowling to Malcolm Marshall. Gatting as the fielder down at deep third man. There's his own little cheer squad down there. It's looking from the far end of the ground across the top of our commentary box. 290 the West Indies now, 32 to Harper, 2 to Marshall. Still to come Curtly Ambrose, Winston Benjamin and Courtney Walsh. Work for the former England captain down there. That's Gatting. A few of them around out in the field.
Yes, almost afraid to have missed that ball there. There was always 2 runs. Gatting had a long way to come in, 30 or 40 yards. And slightly off balance there as he took the ball. So no problem for the batsman.
That's a beautifully timed stroke. First shot of the morning, even though the outfield's slow because of that heavy rain I mentioned. It's fairly raced across the ground. Glorious stroke.
Oh, yes, whenever Marshall plays the odd shot there, he plays it as well as any of the batsmen. Perfect follow through there. Left arm nice and high, foot reasonably well to the ball, and full face of the bat. Not really hit very hard, just perfectly timed.
No ball, and the space is found too. Just a couple of runs, but enough to bring up the 300. Oh, it's well timed. Really the minimum of effort, and that's the sort of charge I was talking about. Poor Mike Gatting. He's not been in the sprinting business for many seasons. Certainly has been in the throwing game, though. Very good throw from that deep position, square on the offside. That was a very easy-looking shot.
Beautifully timed by Malcolm Marshall. Just pushing it away with the bottom hand. And almost reached the boundary.
On leg stump. Martin Moxon. Deceptive, that bottom hand push. from these West Indies, and De Freitas started off quite late. I think it was just an ordinary blocking shot from Harper. It had the width, but how Malcolm Marshall relished it and timed it.
Well, I think that's the shot of the day. It's not a half volley. Hits it on the up, through the line. Marvellous shot, the full face of the bat.
It was just the right moment for the umpires to take the players off the field there, because it fairly threw it down. There was lightning and crashes of thunder, and then we had hail. It was a really big storm that swept over the ground, and the ground staff themselves did a terrific job, first of all in protecting the playing surface, and then getting play underway again at 4:50 p.m. That was with 320 for 6 on the board.
John Charles it is. Being got away very nicely by Malcolm Marshall. And West Indies now moving on to 322 for 6.
Just that little bit of width again from Charles, allowing them to open the face of the bat and away through square on the offside, and nobody about taking David Gower on for a throw and going for a comfortable 3.
That's the line for John Charles. There's certainly plenty in this pitch for him.
Well, this is a line that John Charles wants to be bowling on this wicket. Full length, pitching leg and middle. The batsman's got to play. Even if it does a bit of a chance of the outside edge, straight into a chance of LBW. If he could pitch the ball consistently there, there's no doubt he would take wickets. It's a pretty responsive pitch. Some balls do turn and bounce a little bit, and the others keep pretty low. So if you can keep pegging away on that right length and line, you would take wickets.
Delays for the exchange of positions by England's new ball attack, Dillian de Freitas. There goes the big hits. Malcolm Marshall, 4 runs. The crowd who feel as though they've been starved of action, well pleased with that.
Well, swing across the line, it pitched on. Malcolm Marshall, a pretty powerful player, and that really went away.
Runs there. De Freitas in pursuit. Oh, and down he goes. Well, this just shows the treacherous nature of the outfield. Good job there the ground staff have done. It really can't have done de Freitas any good. Just lost his footing completely.
A tremendous shot there by Harper. A little punch off the back foot with the right hand. A little bit of skating there by de Freitas.
That's well bowled. Outside the line, I think.
Certainly well worth a shout there by de Freitas. Didn't really get a long way forward. I'm not even sure he played at that either. It was a long time before the bat came into line.
Yorker.
Fred is almost getting through here. Marshall just coming down in time. Sort of taking the off the middle out of the ground.
Again, showing how straight Marshall played. The temptation is to jab across, and that one would have got through had he played anything other than straight. It's 50 for Roger Harper. His second one only for the West Indies, but what a valuable innings.
Roger Harper about to take strike now from Philip de Freitas.
Gatting is the man down at third man.
And once again, Philip de Freitas going straight through the batsman.
John Childs doesn't know where the ball is. They've run 3 so far. It was bad luck for de Freitas, bad luck for Childs, very good luck for Harper.
Hooking up there, that short delivery from de Freitas, and Childs not quite getting to it, just getting to it really, and you see how he's skidding on the wet ground there.
That's Roger Harper's highest score in Test matches against England and against any other country for that matter. Those black clouds in the background, very, very severe, and it meant that the players were off the field again, and the rain came to Old Trafford once more. 357 for 6, and the light meter showing that it really was very, very gloomy indeed. Harper 61 and Marshall 37 have seen the West Indies through to that figure. The England bowling, well, they worked very hard all day. Childs bowled a tremendous number of overs for a man in his first Test match, 40 overs, 12 maidens, 1 for 91. Embury, 25 overs, 7 maidens, none for 54. And Dilley, as has been the case in other matches, the most successful with 3 for 82. The match situation at the end of the third day of this Cornhill Test, the West Indies 222 runs ahead on 357 for 6. And that is a very, very strong position to be in. Well, the West Indian batsman declined the light there. Made me wonder why on other occasions they're offered it. It just didn't suit them to go off at that particular moment, as is the case with other teams. Might be time not to offer it to players, time for the ICC to look at it when they meet next week. And around the ground, lightning, thunder, and the players. Eventually they were off the field at 23 minutes past 2. Didn't get back on until 4:15. Viv Richards made the declaration shortly before that. Quite wise of him not to declare earlier, because the England batsman undoubtedly would have been given the light by the umpires. The only dismissal of the morning was that of Roger Harper, the West Indian all-rounder. Got a good one from Graham Dilley, good Yorker. It slanted in at him and hit middle leg or leg stump. He gave that one everything, and Harper was just a little bit late on the stroke and beaten by the in slant as well. Might just have given it an assist off the bottom edge of the bat, the Q end, but it was a good effort and well thought out by Graham Dilley. So the card at the declaration was 384 for 7. Harper out for 74. Marshall remained unbeaten on 43, and Curtly Ambrose was with him, 7 not out. Benjamin and Walsh didn't manage to get to the crease, 24 extras, 384 for 7, and the bowling figures once again dominated by Graham Dilley, 4 for 99 from 28.1 overs and 4 maidens. To Freitas today, 35 overs in all, 5 maidens and 1 for 81. The match situation when that declaration came along, England looking right down the barrel and hoping, I think, for inclement weather, 249 runs behind. We join their innings now with the first ball. Marshall, the destroyer, is coming in from the Stretford end, taking strike, Graham Gooch.
Well, that's extraordinary. Gooch didn't know where that went. It came back at him a long way, just flicked the pad, so the umpire says.
Well down the leg side. Gooch nowhere near it with his bat. He certainly didn't play at it.
Oh, close. Yes. Gooch is given out OBW by umpire Plews. Marshall has been concentrating on moving the ball back off the seam, and he's been moving it a long, long way. Gooch is gone. A most tentative-looking Graham Gooch out there this afternoon. Out OBW to Marshall for 1.
Yes, Graham Gooch not looking very good at all, and rocking forward, but staying where he is, moving back, and right in front there. That would have hit middle and leg.
Marshall to Gaddy. Oh, that's close. Yeah, I should think missing leg stump.
Quite a bit of pace in this delivery. Just moving off the seam, going down the leg side, just beating leg stump. A very good delivery for the first ball.
Ambrose to Moxon. And a nice stroke from Martin Moxon. The front foot again. Driving through that vacant mid-off area.
A pretty quick delivery there by Ambrose. Banged in pretty short, but that just been a little bit straighter. Could well have got Moxon in trouble there.
That's short and fast from Curtly Ambrose.
And that's a similar delivery that he brought to Moxon. And as I said, this time just getting that little bit straighter. And that certainly got Gatting in trouble, and probably fortunate for Gatting, he didn't really get a glove or anything on that. But it certainly seems to be taking people by surprise when he bowls that. Quite a bit of pace there.
That's good crisp stroke from Mike Gatting. The outfield's very slow from that heavy rain overnight.
Walking whilst the fielder. 3 to Gatting off the last ball of that over from Ambrose. Takes the score along to 22 for 1. That was as close to unplayable as you'll find anywhere. Most of the balls coming back off the seam, that one going away.
Yes, that going like a big leg break. I don't think there's any real answer to that. You're playing basically for the ball running in towards you, and that pitch is about off stump, goes away like a leg break and bounces. So there's no real answer to that.
That's out. Beautifully bowled by Marshall again. Another leg cutter. Gatting didn't seem to do anything wrong there, but the ball found the outside edge and flew away with plenty of pace behind it to the man at third slip.
Well, again, that man Marshall, he really has bowled well again, making the ball go both ways off the seam, and that again just held up, just went just enough to catch the edge, only that odd inch or two, and straight into slip there. So played pretty straight there, did Mike Gatting. Not a lot you can do about that if the ball just goes away off the seam. And just good bowling by Malcolm Marshall.
And 50 test catches now for Richie Richardson. With that one to dismiss Mike Gatting. He played quite straight.
David.
Didn't seem to do anything wrong there. It was a good delivery, though. Plenty of pace and movement away off the seam.
Well, that's a pretty quick delivery again from Ambrose. He's certainly made this ball bounce quite high, and see a ball one in the last over, which the keeper had to really take at full stretch. And this one again banged in short, but gets pretty high because this has been a very slow wicket, and really it got David Gower in all sorts of problems, but fortunately the ball went straight down. Could have gone anywhere, really. It's a bit difficult to handle Ambrose at the moment.
This is the fastest I've seen Curtly Ambrose bowl. In the other games, it looked as though he was bowling within himself, making certain he didn't do anything too wild. But plenty of runs to play with out there. I suspect Richards will have told him just to steam in and give it everything he's got. They need our wickets rather than having the runs kept down. Oh, and he's put him down not long after we were saying what a safe pair of hands Richie Richardson had. Looked to me as though he'd lost it.
Yes, I think he was certainly signalling lost it on the back foot. Pretty straightforward chance, really. Straight in, waist high, and straight out. That's a bit unlucky for Ambrose because he's bowled pretty well out there tonight, and he certainly deserved a wicket. A bit of fortune there for Martin Moxon.
That's a slice of luck for Martin Moxon.
Ambrose now to David Gower. And a lovely time shot.
Nice shot this from David Gower. Back foot moving across.
Gracious me, there are the arc of slips. That's where Gower went in the first innings, and so nearly again.
David Gower getting that outside edge again, straight to Marshall, knocks it up, and down she goes.
Well, there's the cordon. He dealt with David Gower in the first innings and could have done this one, with Malcolm Marshall, of all people, spilling a fairly straightforward catch. Oh, and a fearsome delivery again. Bounce and lift from not much short of a length.
He really has bowled magnificently today, without any luck at all. Look at the height he gets on this.
Well bowled again.
Useful delivery, but once again that back pad pulling away, that front pad, very dangerous.
Yes, there are the figures. 276 wickets, and well, helped along to that total by 7 in the first match at Trent Bridge, 10 at Lord's, and already 4 here. Already 5 wickets in an innings 17 times, and well, he certainly made a cracking start in this innings. Well, worth a shout, but Moxon this time reasonably well forward and across.
Another good delivery. Perhaps fractionally outside the off stump, but certainly worth a shout.
Courtney Walsh, who took 4 good wickets in the first innings. He's bowled well throughout the series, but not had much luck. England still 213 adrift. David Gower already had 1 life. Oh, that's well bowled, because that one just about held up.
Fine delivery this. Pitching almost middle and just going, in fact, through the gate. David Gower playing round that one.
Curtly Ambrose finally rested. No reward for him. 9 overs, 2 maidens, 0 for 17, but 2 catches dropped off him. And the 4th of this West Indies pace attack, Winston Benjamin. He's bowling to Martin Moxon. Oh, and that's out. First ball, short, no great amount of movement. Moxon will be disappointed with that. So Moxon caught for 15, and England 36 for 3.
Yes, not a great stroke this. You'll see it's wide outside the off stump. Lifting. Moxon playing very, very freely at it and nicking it straight to Viv Richards at first slip.
It's Viv Richards' 99th catch for the West Indies. The dogged innings of Moxon ended in a fairly loose fashion. That was really a sighter from Benjamin. It's pitched short, it's pitched wide, it's climbed a little bit, but no real lateral movement. And now that's a serious blow for England's chances of batting out the match. 4 runs. First boundary of the innings to Alan Lamb off his first ball.
And this fired down the leg side. Alan Lamb just getting a little edge on it onto his backside. And fortunately got his backside in the way, actually. Otherwise he might have been caught behind the wicket on the leg side.
Well, Richards, one record after another is beckoning him. Just one more catch. Straight over the top of middle. Almost seemed to go through the stumps, not over them, my word.
This darting back off the seam. Straight over the top of the middle, nearly cutting Alan Lamb in half. See where Dujon took that.
Well, interesting first over to Benjamin. First ball for 4, second one nips back and lifts, the third one goes straight over the top of middle.
What a good delivery. My goodness me. Moving away off the pitch, and Alan Lamb really not getting very close to it in the end. A very fine delivery indeed.
That's a lovely shot from Gower. Even the slow outfield is not going to stop that. That's a cracking stroke. Takes Gower now on to 14. Total on to 48 for 3. Up for England for the loss of 3 wickets. It seems to me David Gower is making a conscious effort to move his feet a long way today. First of all forward and then back, and now he's coming forward again, playing very straight. But it's a while since I've seen him move his feet quite as much as this.
And he certainly played some very pleasant strokes out there, even apart from exhibiting some much improved defence. 10 more runs are added to take the total up to 60 for 3, and Gower, of those, had made 24. Alan Lamb is with him, struggling a little, but he's still there, unbeaten on 6. And the West Indian bowling figures, well, they've worked very hard there. I thought Curtly Ambrose bowled with great fire out there today. 9 overs, 2 maidens, and a little bit of an injustice that he has none for 17 against his name. The 2 wickets taken by Malcolm Marshall, some excellent bowling from him, and so too from Courtney Walsh and Winston Benjamin. Some spin there for Harper and for Hooper. England 189 runs behind and 60 for 3 at the close of the 4th day, so they are in real trouble. David Gower, I talked about having looked quite good out there today, and in the course of that innings he went past Sir Leonard Hutton's record in Test match aggregates, but he has a much more responsible job to do tomorrow. He's with Alan Lamb, and they're 2 of the most experienced batsmen in the England side. They face a big task to get through and see England through to the safety of it. We join play now with the first ball. Ambrose is the bowler, taking strike the left-hander David Gower.
First ball of the morning and runs for Gower. Flicked away nicely there. And chased by Logie. And 3 runs.
Good start to the day. Just outside the leg stump, and David Gower pushing that away firmly through mid-wicket.
Well, that takes Gower on to 27. Alan Lamb starting the day on 6. So far, they've put on 27. Lamb also off the mark. Fielded by substitute Keith Atherton, with Gordon Greenwich not on the field at the moment. Malcolm Marshall to share the attack with Ambrose. The only thing Viv Richards had got to consider was that, having had 2 official warnings for running on the wicket from umpire Plews last night, 1 more means him out of the rest of the innings, and so Richards must have thought long and hard as to whether to open with other bowlers to see if they could make the break and not risk losing his main strike bowler. Marshall it is to Gower. Oh, straight away. Ball not bouncing, but moving.
Yes, a very gentle little loosener there. Moving away from David Gower off the pitch. But no real pace in it. Second bounce to Dujon.
Nicely flicked away. Anything around leg stump, then Gower's shown himself in control, and that's the first boundary of the morning. So David Gower taking advantage there of a rare loose Marshall delivery.
Nicely clipped away off his legs. And only 3 men on the onside.
Marshall at the top again. Just the 2 overs of spin so far from Roger Harper in the entire match. 1 from Carl Hooper. Now that is one of the out of form David Gower shots that nobody likes to see.
Yes, the old fashioned shot on the walk. Not quite good. You see the back pad going across after the ball's gone by, and that's where it should have been in the first place. There.
Oh, well, one followed by another, almost inevitable, and David Gower, after looking as though he was marching down a different road, isn't. Joyous West Indies supporters there, and Gower caught for 34 and England 73 for 4.
Yes, lovely piece of bowling. You've got to give the bowler credit, but you can see how far David was away from being behind that delivery. Very, very wide indeed. No need to play it. And disappointing end.
And Richardson will be pleased at holding one after putting one down last night. He put Martin Moxon down. One thing that was that West Indies wanted and England didn't. New batsman is David Capel. one of quite a number of England players in this match who, needless to say, are playing for their places and immediate futures.
David Williams fielding.
And here we can see this lack of foot movement. Very, very wide when he had that little flick at it.
Those are the figures for the innings. Always he takes out the top of the England order. That's close. It's just me, got him on the back foot.
Yes, he has this great ability to get the batsman back. And that's a very good shout.
Those 22 wickets really have simplified life for his captain, Viv Richards. Well, averaging under 10, getting a wicket under every 5 overs. Yes, there was a clear, audible second sound there. Capel stood, but there didn't seem to be any doubt in anybody's mind. And there goes David Capel. An unhappy match for him.
Yes, Capel pushing forward here, getting an inside edge onto the pad, high onto the thigh pad, actually. Going out on the offside. And Arthurton just running in, picking that very simple catch. Full marks to Malcolm Marshall, who'd only just moved Arthurton into that position. Inside edge, onto the thigh pad, and bouncing high in the air.
Yes, Capel never came to terms with Marshall. He was nailed on the back foot and survived a very strong LBW appeal, and obviously deciding to come forward as often as not. Did the very thing that bat pad man was there for. Now new batsman Paul Downton. In his time he's played some pretty long innings against the West Indies, if not particularly high-scoring ones, but somewhere along the line, after a shot like this and a dismissal like this, Capel, you see, playing forward to a ball well short of a good length. And now England certainly need somebody to drop anchor for 2 or 3 hours. So coming all the way forward and really in no position to control or play that ball down once it had deviated back onto him. 4 out of the first 5. Well, dear me. This one going the other way. Just like a leg break.
What a wonderful delivery. Fast leg break. Not too many people would have touched that one.
Not hitting the edge of the bat, he's missing it. Every ball moves, a marvellous, marvellous over from him. 2 wickets, he's made the break yet again. Another great delivery to Downton, and comments on that over, if he's got any left, from Tom Graveney, and then to continue commentary it'll be Richie Bennett. Well,
I've been accused of being Malcolm Marshall's press agent, but I mean, you can just have a look there to see what a very great bowler he is. He's bowling at 3/4 pace this morning, just getting the ball on the seam, moving it in and away from the batsman. Terrific performance.
23 wickets so far, and there's still a bit of time to go as well. It's the remainder of today, and one at Headingley and one at the Oval.
Yes, and his best ever performance, of course, was at Headingley in the corresponding match 4 years ago.
That's off the fingers. That's a very nasty delivery from Curtly Ambrose. Not very much the batsman could have done about that one. It lifted from not all that short. Hit Lamb on the glove and flew straight to short leg to Logie, who missed a few at Lord's but made no mistake with that one.
Yes, a really nasty delivery here. Banged in short, lifting and going off the glove, off the bottom hand. And Logie picking that one up very tidily.
It's 73 for 6 now, and it's not going too far to say that there may well be an early end to today's activities, unless the rain comes to England's assistance. We've only been playing for half an hour this morning, and suddenly from the start of 60 for 3, it's become 73 for 6. This is an interesting angle, this particular shot, because Lamb got up as far as he could and was fending it down all the time. Almost did all the right things, but it was a devilish delivery. Two double-figure scores. Gower, who was dismissed this morning for 34. Capel was out for naught, and Lamb now for 9. First time Ambrose has slipped in for a wicket, but he's bowled well enough to have 3 or 4. Richards has let him loose out there in this innings, and whatever he told him, it was the right thing, I can tell you. Curtly has bowled very well. It rather looks to me as though in the other matches he might have been holding back a little, trying to bowl a good line, good length.
Well, again, just banged in halfway down and coming back and going through wayside. But I was talking to Viv Richards early in the season and talking about Ambrose, and he said, comparing him with Joe Garner, when the wicket's a little bit bouncy, he's much more aggressive than Joe Garner, and I think that's probably true.
Well, his run into the bowling crease in this innings, not so much in the first innings, but in this innings, has been much more purposeful. Just a little quicker. Just seems to me that Viv might have said, OK, we've got plenty of runs to play with. Runs don't matter. Just go in there and give it everything and bowl fast. Try and bowl straight as well. That's 4, no third man, and no man in that exact spot in the infield either.
Well, this would have been a catch with another man in, but preferring to have the cylinder off and short leg.
That's beautifully caught. That's a fine catch by the man there at slip, Roger Harper. Pulled out and has gone. That ball moved sharply off the seam, and it went very, very quickly to Harper. And the high tens are in operation out there.
Well, as I said before, cutting the ball back most of the time, but then just the occasional delivery going the other way. Not very much, but it doesn't need to do much if it's been cutting back off the seam. And that one just went a fraction away, and Downton had to play it. It was a good length, skidded through. Very, very similar to Mike Gatting's dismissal, and there's not a lot you can do about that. It just goes out a couple of inches off the seam. You have to play, and that's the result. So there's not much you can do about that.
And 5 wickets in a test match innings for the 18th time for Malcolm Marshall now, and the 6th time against England. Catch to Roger Harper, the wicket to Malcolm Marshall. And the score 87 for 7. Times 5 wickets in a test match innings, 3 wickets in a match. Philip de Freitas is the new batsman. He's joined John Embury. Harper again. De Freitas gone. Almost an action replay. The only difference was the batsman on this occasion. But Downton read de Freitas. 87 for 8.
Yes, probably not going quite as much off the seam as Downton's, but a very, very good line again, just outside that off stump. De Freitas probably having to play, and Roger Harper proving what a great all-round fielder he is. One of the best fielders in the world, anywhere in the outfield, at slip, or wherever you want to put him. But really tremendous bowling by Malcolm Marshall again. There's nothing much more you can say about this man. He's just a tremendous bowler.
Dilly coming out at 87 for 8.
See that de Freitas dismissal again. Round about off stump, just outside. Certainly had to play at it. Probably could have got a little bit farther across there. But when you've just come in the first delivery or two, it's not that easy.
Last ball of the over. Or John Embury to face. Oh, that's well bowled. Did too much, I reckon.
John Embury trying to play Marshall off the back foot here. Marshall going back to moving the ball in. And that probably just did too much. Probably just missing the leg stump, but certainly very, very close and well worth a shout.
He's a very interesting bowler. He's an object lesson for all young bowlers, I reckon, that you don't have to be a giant. You can be a well-built fast bowler, and you don't have to run 1,000 yards. He only has a short run in, or relatively short. And he does just about all the right things there. That's a good example of the type of bowling action that would well serve a young cricketer on the way up. And that's out. Extra bounce. Embury trying to keep it down, but Logie has grabbed it. And now it is 93 for 9, and the clouds are still gathering here. It's becoming darker. The umpires are having a word now, and a replay of how Embury was dismissed.
Lambro's getting that right in the right place to Embury. following him just outside the leg stump, possibly, or leg stumpish, and Embry, who stands back and gives himself a bit of room, couldn't really get back and get away from that, and that tucked him up, and the result was a little catch there for Gus Lowgate, short leg. Both the umpires are looking at light meters now and having a discussion. It's certainly gone a little bit darker, but it's still about 5 past on the light meters they have built in here on the Wilson stand.
Last man is John Childs. Well, he probably didn't think a couple of weeks ago that he might be walking out here at Old Trafford with the task of delaying the West Indies on the last morning until the rain might fall to save England, with the total at 93 for 9. Comes in now to join Graham Dilley. And Dilley has strike because that was the last ball of the Ambrose over. And no need to worry about the light. Best bowling for Malcolm Marshall in all his time in Test match cricket. 15.4 overs, 5 maidens, 7 for 23. A brilliant performance from Marshall. Dilley the last man out. Childs wasn't required to play a stroke, either in anger or defence, and England all out for 93.
Yes, it's a pretty good delivery again. Pitching round about leg stump, hitting off-angled across just at the left-hander, but perfect length, and I think that was a very important wicket because there's no doubt about it. I don't think we'd have got one more over him. The light is so poor now that, and it's also just spotting of rain, that I think if they could just have gone that over, they may well have got off, depending how heavy the rain is, as to whether they've got back on again. But there's some pretty heavy showers about, but really West Indies have deserved to win that match, and tremendous piece of bowling by Malcolm Marshall.
His previous best figures were at Headingley against England, and here today he's bowled quite superbly on the last morning. 7 for 22, having started the morning with 2 for 10. Took 5 for 12. Brilliant effort.
Indeed it was, and his best ever Test match figures here on this Old Trafford ground. A marvellous performance, but a desperately disappointing batting effort from England. 93, having started the day at 60 for 3. Just 2 double-figure scores there. 3 if you take extras into account, although that'll be small comfort to the England batsmen and to England cricket supporters around the country. The bowling figures thoroughly dominated by Marshall, who bowled quite beautifully out there. Moved the ball a lot off the seam. And Ambrose, I thought, again bowled well today. They were the ones used. 15.4 overs, 5 maidens. 7 for 22, and 16 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 36. We might have seen the start of a great fast bowling combination out there today, with Curtly Ambrose really letting himself go from the Warwick Road end, but a super effort from Malcolm Marshall. That's the way it was. 612 runs scored in the match, and 27 wickets fell. 20 of them were English wickets. West Indies winning by an innings and 156 runs. Man of the match was Malcolm Marshall, named by Tom Graveney, a thoroughly worthy choice. It may not have been all that difficult a decision, but he is a fine cricketer. He made runs just when Viv Richards would have wanted them, and he got them reasonably quickly in what was a slow-scoring game.